Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back today with another one of our weekly update slash Q&A videos. As always, we start off with a quick update with what's going on in Injustice. The current character challenge is for Blackest Night Hawkgirl. The current online reward is the Riddler's Cane. The current Survivor gear set is the League of Assassins gear set. And the current character pack, not early access pack actually, they changed the nomenclature, is Blackest Night Doomsday. And we have mentioned that, I think, pretty recently, that when they keep running early access packs, like kind of on a permanent cycle, that especially when it's after the challenge has already ended, right, or during the challenge, it's not really an early access pack, it's just a character pack.
I'm actually a little bit excited because Blackest Night Hawkgirl only has just over a day left, so I'm hoping that they rerun Blackest Night Batman for iOS and technically run it for the first time on Android.
Yeah, that would be a nice treat. So anyways, getting right into the questions. The first question, or it's a question, comes on the Blackest Night Martian Manhunter Superheal glitch video, and it's from Usman, and they ask, cool glitch, but what do we actually need to perform it other than Blackest Night Martian Manhunter? A bit confusing for me.
Okay, so it almost certainly has to be Blackest Night Martian Manhunter because there's a few conditions, right? The necessary conditions are, first, you have to reduce your opponent to 1 health. 2, you need ongoing damage over time. And 3, no other damage, because if you have other damage and they're down to 1, you're going to knock them out. And you need to have, the hardest part is life drain from that damage. So, alright, so reducing opponent to 1 health, you absolutely have to have damage over time because it's not possible really to hit so finely with your attacks that you're going to reduce them to 1.
Yeah.
And, LexCorp gear by itself, it's going to be hard to do it just by that because the amount of damage is actually pretty small.
For sure.
So, again, ongoing damage over time, you basically, in this situation, you require LexCorp gear. I mean, Earth 2 Solomon Grundy gives you damage over time constantly, but he doesn't meet the other requirements, right?
Yeah.
No other damage means, it can't be anything else. It has to be LexCorp gear or not really, but LexCorp gear. Every other form of damage over time, you have to do something else first. You have to do some damage first. And again, knockout problem. And it has to be Blackest Night Martian Manhunter because nobody else gets that, life drain from damage. And he gets it
automatically.
Right, 6 seconds every 30-second cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the question. So our next comment comes from Tamatea Williams, and it's from the same video. And they say the fact that it's OP will just ruin the game.
I can see where you're coming from, but I actually don't think so. Yeah, totally. It's an insane amount of healing. But the conditions are really specific, right? Like we mentioned our answer to the previous commenter, you need to play it a very specific way. And as we demonstrated in the video, it helps to have someone like Arkham Knight Catwoman who can do an insane amount of damage over time.
Yeah.
And because if you don't, you're either going to just knock someone out or never get to the point where you can take advantage of the Superheal. All it takes is a person who can do a little bit of healing, and all of a sudden, you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I think it works as a gimmick team, but it doesn't necessarily work as just an overpowered team strategy. It's not like the kind of thing where you can just shove it in a different team. It needs to be its kind of own whole team.
I'd love to see somebody try that in Survivor and see if they can use that Superheal to their advantage so they don't have to have buy-ins for more health, or even you just use it as a way to, overcome some of the guys with massive damage and massive health.
Yeah. Our next question comes from Gravity_Bio.
Oh, and we actually missed this from last week, so we're making up for it. But yeah.
Yeah. And they say, hi, I've been playing Injustice for over 2 years. Are gears that are focused on giving health better than dealing damage to the entire team?
Alright, so I'm sure there's going to be other people who have differing opinions about this, but my personal feeling, I always pick damage over health.
Yeah, I agree.
I never wanted that. The game has changed so much that every fight favors the team that can generate the most damage per second, and preferably with basic damage as a priority over specials. I mean, do you remember in the early days when healing gears stacked, it wasn't uncommon to face teams that could drag fights out by healing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got something similar now where when you're facing someone with a complete Fourth World gear set, and if they keep on healing and healing and healing, if you can't do enough damage, you're going to be stuck in an endless loop where you either end up losing or it takes you so long to finish the fight that it's almost not worth the fight.
Yeah, and in even earlier days, it was basically whoever did the most specials. It was a totally special-focused game. Like, even before Gear, and then even just after that for a while, until we got the people who are special absorbers, right?
Wait, was there, when multiplayer first started, was there not Gear? I think
right when multiplayer first hit, there was Gear, but it was, I'm saying even before that.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning of multiplayer, true, that's a lot of what people consider a lot of the challenge, but
yeah.
There was a while there where it was
when
really
Bonus Battle 6 was the last fight.
Yeah.
It was maximum E5.
Yeah, and
level 40. Was it level 40?
It was really still until people started having the ability to not get hit by specials that, like, dealing the most damage through specials was pretty much the way to win.
Yeah, yeah. So if you had to pick a straight preference, absolutely damage. If I have the choice, I always go for damage. I never go for health.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, in some ways, I prefer the glass cannons.
So, anyways, our next question comes from Arshid Alibhai, and they say, "Great show as always, guys. The one change I'd like to see in Injustice Gods Among Us, or in the case of Injustice 2, is removal of crit chance, crit damage, health and damage augmentation, especially since the only way to get them is Survivor, or in the case of 99% of the players, account modifications, especially when it comes to Android. Added to the fact that Warner Brothers can't smarten the AI in regards to multiplayer pairing. Personally, I'd hate to start afresh with Injustice 2, but if they manage to secure the system and make it less prone to modifications, I wouldn't actually mind. In fact, I would go so as far to say it'll bring back the excitement that we all had when we first started playing Injustice Gods Among Us, minus the grinding. That's all in the near future, and since it is yet to be determined, I'm going to enjoy the game as it is, wrecking my brain over Injustice 2, transference of Warner Brothers ID, etc. is pointless. Cheers, and have a great one." Well, thanks for your opinion.
Thanks for the comment, actually.
Yeah.
You're one of our regulars, and don't think we don't notice.
Yeah.
I'll
very articulate.
I'll respectfully disagree, and I'll say that I don't mind the augmentation system, mainly because it allows customization, so that your Elseworld Flash can be different from our Elseworld Flash.
Even if it's only in a kind of minor way. And I think it feels more customizable because of the scarcity of resources.
Yeah. But I totally agree with you, and I totally get where you're coming from, though, about the grinding that's required, and I'm not, part of me is not sure whether it's actually just the grinding, or the fact that the grinding doesn't result in what you want, it results in a chance at what you want. And that separation where you don't actually, even if you
might get what you pay for.
Yeah, and there's a chance that you end up not getting it, and there's so many different things that you could get, whether it's gear or different augmentations, that I think that's where the frustration comes in. More so than if, it was just a straight currency that you could use to buy it, and you could just earn it, and you knew that for a certain amount of grinding, you would get to where you want, and instead, you could randomly, you could get what you want in one last ticket, or it might take you hundreds, and that is the biggest frustration to me.
Well, I think for every character other than the exclusive ones or the challenge characters, all of them have been an opt-in, opt-out of a kind of randomness factor, where you could get characters random in packs for cheaper for sure, but if you wanted to elite them, you always had that option. So it felt like the packs was the best option most of the time, but we were at least making that choice.
Right.
And I think even separate from that, even if the time we put in would definitely lead to an augment card, and even if they just downgraded it like one level essentially, so instead of where you get a major one, you get a medium one instead.
I think your analogy is perfect, right? Because there literally is the comparison. You either generate enough power credits and spend a lot to directly promote your guy.
Yeah, or you spend a little less and just get stuff that you kind of want, maybe want.
Yeah, for a chance at what you want, and maybe chance at other stuff that could still be useful.
And so I think that no matter how you put it, the cost of getting augments is a little out of whack, and I think it would almost still be out of whack even if you could get things directly and you just got a reduced rate. And I think because there's a delicate balance. The grinding is supposed to make what you earn feel special, and it's supposed to make it feel like you really had to work to get it, right?
Right.
But by work we mean doing something that you found fun, right? To get it, hopefully. Hopefully, that's the goal anyways. So, I think the problem is the grinding curve for augments is just too steep, and it's way too steep to ever consider anywhere near completion, like you said, without hacking or modifying your count.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think at that level, it does become almost like a pay to win, except there's not really a great way to even buy augmentations either, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's not.
So it's really just kind of frustrating for everyone, and I think they need to adjust it in some way to make it just a better system. Anyways, thanks for the question.
And thanks for watching regularly.
Yeah, our last comment / question comes from Jaidev Deshpande 30, and they say, I've been following your videos for a while.
No, Jaidev Deshpande 30 was just...
Oh, sorry, that's formatting. My brother pointed me to this channel since I started playing Injustice seriously. I've always wondered how you manage your time between playing the game for literally hours, recording videos, and doing other things. You guys probably have jobs or school or both. Do you have a specific regime you follow? Is there a strict timetable? What helps you be disciplined?
Thank you very much for asking this question. Most of the time it's people asking about the game and asking for help.
Yeah, and this is interesting.
Yeah, and because you're asking about us, which is kind of cool. But not about us, like, you know, show your face kind of thing, but just like the whole way our filming works. Is that's the kind of thing I'm curious about when I see stuff.
Yeah.
I like to see how stuff works, which is why, you know, we did the whole lock picking stuff. Anyways, sorry, I digress.
I think the short answer is that unlike a lot of people on this platform, our videos are relatively low production quality, and that lets us kind of put all of our time into producing content which we think is informative instead of maybe a little bit flashier and less frequent, right?
Right.
So that's answer one, and I think answer two is...
It probably doesn't hurt that I don't play anything besides mobile games. I play this. At this point, I'm playing Injustice and Renegade Midnight Star and nothing else. So that's all my gaming spare time.
Yeah, and I think the other answer is that we don't really contextualize this as work at all. This is totally 100% just a hobby for us. We're passionate about it and we love to do it. So
yeah, I think if we thought of it as work, I think this would kill us.
Yeah, so it's not as much like how do we find the time, and it's more of when we have the time to sit down and film together. It's do we have enough time to do this video? Do we have enough time to do this video? Because it's how we choose to spend our free time. It's how we want to spend our time, and that makes it way easier to find time to do it.
Right. No, absolutely. But to be realistic, too, part of it is getting the free stuff. That's why I'm prone to say every once in a while, watch our unboxing videos, because the ad revenue, we've said this before, right? And maybe you've heard this or maybe not, but the ad revenue from this is piss poor and not really enough to make up for our time. But that's okay because we enjoy it and we get free stuff. And it's a result of the unboxings, it's a result of our reviews, which are actually our lowest view videos, and we'd have a better chance at getting, you know, the advanced reading copies of books and the subscription boxes to unbox if we had better views on that. So that's why if, you know, you're prone, leaning towards helping us and you appreciate what we do, watch our unboxing stuff.
Yeah, especially because we know people do vote with their views. And as far as this channel, right, with all of our amassed 13,000 subscribers, most of those are there for the glitches, a small subset that's there for anything we make on Injustice.
Right.
Also isn't really part of the same audience as unboxing channels are, which is why we really do appreciate like every person who watches those, and it does matter a lot, actually.
Oh, and actually answering your question too, one other thing that helps is our newer filming system, because we've got an on-screen recorder. You can see the difference in quality now, so you don't have to have the same setup. It's not as much of a production. What I can afford to do is certain things like the recent video that we did where Bronze Nightwing totally soloed boss Arkham Origins Batman on his own with nothing else. He did that pretty easily, actually.
Yeah.
So watch it if you're interested. But that if I didn't have onboard recording, it would have been a lot harder, because here I can, when I first had the idea, I could try a few times and record every time, and if it didn't work, nothing wasted. I was just going to be messing around on my phone anyways.
Yeah, and you can really have better quality commentary because you don't have to be focusing on the game.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. When I was playing live and we're doing commentary, I can't I can't. It's like chewing bubblegum and walking at the same time.
Yeah, so that's one of the things, and I guess the final answer for specifically weekly updates is if you really want to, it's not that hard to find like 25 minutes on a Tuesday night, right?
Absolutely.
So we're coming right up on the end of the video. That was the end of the fights. We really appreciate anybody who watches all the way through to this, and if you are that much of a fan, you should also watch our unboxings. We already did a mini plug earlier, but, you know, might as well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda.